right. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's do some fly tying, shall we? Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. All right. Ready to tie some craft for baitfish. How's everybody doing? What's going on, Sonny Kim? How you doing, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Welcome everybody on Twitch and YouTube. Okay, so we are going to be tying. Hold on. Before I move that mic and make some crazy noise, shut that down real quick. Like that. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to be tying some craft for baitfish. Now, I did change the camera settings here, so the white balance is much better. It's a little darker, but what do you call it? The white balance was out of control before, so I started tweaking some settings. I actually have this set up really nicely for tying videos. I just changed the aperture setting slightly and like shut off almost all the lights in the room except for my overhead lamp, like shining right in my face, and the fly is like in pitch black, but the fly stands out nice. So I'm excited. The next, after the Gibbs striper fly, which comes out on Monday, I want to say, the next two videos after that are going to be looking good. So I edited them up. I just need to do some voiceovers and film the swim tank footage. So we're working though on some flies for saltwaterflies.com. Turn this down just a little bit. We're doing some high tie baitfish, and what that entails is taking some craft fur and tying that on. And right now what I'm doing is I'm tying the white tails for the fly. So we're going to be doing this, and then you can see I have 30 white ones. You can't see them right now, but there's 30 of these white ones I got to glue up, and then I have 18 of this herring color. So we're just going to be tying the tails. I only have a couple more tails, and then we're going to start tying all the nice colors. Thank you, Sonny. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think I'm going to start doing more voiceovers and scaling down the amount of time. Some of the videos recently have been quite long, like 20-something minutes, 30 minutes. And it seems like the shorter videos, while still trying to keep a good explanation of what's going on, while trying to keep it easier to digest, definitely helps. So I'm trying to slim down the videos. And I did a poll on the YouTube channel, and it seems like half the people like long form, half the people like shorter form. So I'm thinking that we'll do like, maybe 2-3 short form a week and then one longer form video or something. I don't know. I'm trying to do 3 to 4 videos a week. Recently I was like, you know what? I got to start kicking into overdrive here. So, and I'm seeing nice results. So, from everybody watching on YouTube. So shout out to all the lurkers. But yeah, we got the new bend back video up right now. Let's see, Kinky Muddler is up next. That's going to be coming out on Sunday at like 3 o'clock. And then the Gibbs Striper's coming out on Monday. So I just need to finish editing the next two. And those are going up, and they'll be coming out on Wednesday and Friday next week. So I'm trying to stay ahead of schedule here with the videos. So I got some good momentum right now, and I'm keeping it up. But I have a lot of different flies that I've been just over the years like, okay, I should make a video on this. I should make a video on that. So I have a catalog of flies that I've been meaning to film. And I kind of got the process down and the editing down. So what do you call it? It's not that big of a deal to like film 2 videos and edit it in a day, Especially if I make them shorter. just less time reviewing it over, you know, checking the audio on it, yada yada. All right, so we start off with a tiny bit of this like shrimp color here, just for the belly, to give some sort of appearance of like almost like a wounded baitfish or a juvenile baitfish that is transparent. And then I'm going to take some craft fur here, and I'm going to taper this down really short. And I don't want to waste any of the hair, so I'm going to take the longer ones and cut them down after tapering them. So for instance, for the kinky muddler, I essentially show you how to make your own EP blends. So that's one of the reasons why that video is longer. But perhaps maybe we'll make a video on how to make your own fly blends, how to taper bucktail or how to select material from bucktail. So that way, you know, it'll be easier to kind of reference. All right. Let me actually pump this light up because now there you go. I've changed the ISO setting, so that should be better. Or changed the settings on the camera in general. So I do 5 white ties, and I slowly increase the length of the craft fur here. I'm getting all the short hairs. You'll see that any of these short hairs I get out of the way. And then I kind of taper this. And I slowly increase the length of that craft fur. Any of these hairs like this, little trick, boop. You fold that over and cut it. So that way we don't waste any of this nice rainies. Especially I think I just have enough to finish 3 white bellies, which is what I have left out of these 48 flies. So we're on par here to knock this out. I'm trying to bang out all the flies too. I just got this material like last week, I think, or a couple days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. So in between editing and filming and making short form versions of all the videos, yada yada, I've been tying these white ones, and now I'm finishing up the herring ones. The goal is to try and get these 18 herring bodies done. We're going to adjust this like this, so that way I can pull the vise where I want it. If it'll focus for me. Hello? There we go. You know what? I'm just going to have to put it on manual focus. Just going to have to put it on manual. It's the way to do it. Autofocus is nice, but it's what you got to do. So I usually do 5 ties here. Starting off very short, then making it slowly longer, until we get to the precipice, like the longest piece of craft fur, and then we're going to be tying the angel hair. And we're going to switch to colors. We just have 2 more of these white tails, and then we can start tying the colors on here. So I don't know if we'll get all these done tonight, but we'll try and get a good amount. Camera's trying its best, I know. You know, the autofocus is pretty slow on this compared to some other cameras, but this camera's really decent. I can't complain. How you doing, Craigerroll? You know what? Stick this down here. Hey, William Barnett. This is the Blitz Bunker Buster, I think is what it's called. I forget the exact name of this thing. But essentially, it's just a high-tie baitfish, reminiscent of the old polar fiber baitfish that they used to sell on saltwaterflies.com. But this is the new version that we're tying for them. And we use Rain East Craft fur. I can show you the bag here. which this craft fur is just amazing. It's just the best quality craft fur out there. So we're doing some herring colors. I have these 2 bodies to finish, and then we're going to start tying the colors on there. If you want to find the Rainey's craft fur, you can get it at saltwaterflies.com. Unfortunately, my local fly shop doesn't have it. I've been trying to get them to get it, so when I run out, I can grab some, but I've been buying material from saltwaterflies.com since like 1998, so that's kind of like my go-to place anyway. But we're just making the length longer here as we go. And again, getting all those shorter hairs. So you can see, this is a size 2 Gamakatsu SL12S 1X short. I'll show you the hooks here. These are very good hooks. And what we're doing is, in this size 2, I start off pretty short, and then I increase the length that you can see, and I end up right about to where, it's kind of hard to see, but this little magnet back here, right where my finger is going to be the length. So you can see I'm just slowly increasing the length, and I do 5 ties. What do we got here now? We got 3 ties. So I got to do 2 more, and then we're going to tie the flash. And I'm just stacking them. That's what a high tie is. We're just tying it all on top and just stacking it one after another. Just moving up ahead after that last piece. And we're kind of stepping the material, essentially. Sidestepping, you know. Doing all right. Not too much going on. Yeah, I'm excited for some fishing. I kind of want to go out and do some like pickerel fishing at some point, but trying to get this order done. I was reorganizing my room, cleaning stuff up. I might like take down this 4x4 gaming table I have, because we pretty much just always go and play at my buddy's house. So, which if you haven't, by the way, there's the new Ben Back video on Li Flies Mike, my YouTube channel, but my second channel, Mike Rolls Dice, we have the start of Frygazar's journey. My solo Suede series, which is like a TTRPG, kind of like D&D, but I'm playing solo with the Mythic emulator. So our first episode went up. The next one's going up next week at some point. So you can check that out if you want to see how to play a tabletop game solo. This is one of my D&D characters from a buddy's campaign, and I threw him into Savage Worlds, kind of like the prelude to what happened in our D&D campaign. So I'm going to take some angel hair or some wing flash here, whatever suits your fancy. And I'm just going to tie this on right to where that last tie went, and right on top of it. And you don't want a lot, just enough to get, a nice little lateral line down the middle. Just like that. And I was going to just do the white bellies, but I'll just show you right now. We might as well. We only have 3 left. So now we're going to start taking our colors. I'm going to start taking some yellow craft fur here. You can see I'm going to take all the short hairs out. This is why the Rainey's nice, because you don't end up with a ton of waste with the Rainey's. Fly tie New England. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? You ready for the striper season? How many months now we got? It's probably going to be like, it's generally like the first week of April is when I start seeing fish here locally on Long Island. We're just going to tie yellow on right where we tied that white, or that flash, I mean. So essentially, the last tie is kind of like a combination of white, then flash, then the yellow, or a different color, but too many? Yeah, I know, too many months. I know. Hopefully, we'll see. I think we have a really cold spell coming up here soon, so that's not going to help things, but last year we had a pretty good spring, and then after that it was just terrible locally. All the fishing was out in the ocean. So fly fishing from shore was like really tough. So I'm hoping for a better inshore season. One of the issues is our stock of smaller striped bass is not in good shape. There's a lot of like decent sized fish, but there's not a lot of smaller fish. So I'm hoping that they come back. But I think it could be the sort of thing where like for the next like 5, 10, whatever, until we get a nice stock of spawning fish, we might be in for some lackluster inshore striper fishing. I heard it was pretty good other places, but locally for me, I mean, it was just... I didn't catch baby, like the little tiny 8-inch, 10-inch striped bass till like October in the bay. It was all like fish over 27 inches in the spring. And then during the summertime, it was like, that was it. We always get our big bluefish, which I love. And this year we had nothing but like 600-pound tuna right off the beaches, bluefin everywhere. But that's a little too big for the fly rod, so it'd be nice if there were some 50-pounders coming inshore. So I like to taper this just a little bit shorter as well. But I still like to keep some length on this. I don't want to make this that sort of length, right? But I do kind of... The middle of the fly is the longest piece, and then I taper it down. We're just going to do some dark blue on top of this light blue. Again, keeping this material tied on top like that. And I like to actually get a little bit more dark blue on here, I mean. Yeah, I know they were thinking of it, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what their management plan is. Unfortunately, I mean, On the Water and some other places posted this, and it was very surprising because I do some commercial small-scale bunker fishing or like, shiner fishing and stuff like that. So we pay attention to ASMFC. Jesus, sorry about that. It's a tongue twister. And their data shows that unfortunately it looks like we definitely need to have better education for catch and release, because the catch and release mortality rate is so extremely high. It's quite alarming. But yeah, they were considering a ban or a moratorium essentially for part-time of the year. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they figure something out, whatever the best course of management is, because that's why it's important to follow places like the Saltwater Guide Association and stuff like that, because they have their they're pretty into this sort of stuff and can keep you informed on what not only is good for like small scale commercial fishermen, but also for recreational and for guides and tackle shops and businesses. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you look at my Instagram now, there's never any photos of me holding fish because I pretty much stopped taking fish out of the water or taking photos. I usually just keep them in the water and pop the hook out. In the past, I would take some glory shots, but try and do it as quick as possible. But you see people that just, the mismanagement on fish is just absolutely horrendous a lot of times. So we essentially just top it off with a little bit of, I forgot to put a little black on there. My bad. We actually got to put a little bit of black right on top. And we just take our eyes, and you can see we're going to essentially do almost like a diamond shape with our resin when we go ahead and glue this. Let's take a little black here. And it didn't help that we normally, so let's see, I think it was 2020, like 2019, 2018, the albie fishing was absolutely phenomenal. From shore, you could just go every day and catch 3-4 albies from the inlet. Last year, I don't think they came inshore once. They were out in tuna grounds all day, every day during the summer and fall, but they never came inshore once. And a lot of my fly tying business is tying albie fly, so I'm really hoping we get some albies. I just, if you're interested, North Carolina is doing some public, public opinions on their North Carolina algae fishery for commercial fishing, and the Saltwater Guide Association has a link so you could go and just tell them that you support conservation of false albacore in North Carolina. It takes like 2 seconds to do it, but because it's big offshore trawling of, we're talking about like entire schools of fish sucked up for like cat food, like it's nothing. Yeah, they're definitely, yeah, I don't know how they do it. Just proper education, I guess. Maybe you take a quick little thing before you take your fishing. The thing is, they want people to get fishing licenses, right? It's free here in New York State. They just want people to sign up. People already don't sign up for it. So if you make it like you have to take a little questionnaire on safe handling of fish, half the people won't do it, There needs to be like a mindset change in general when it comes to striped bass fishing. But I think a lot of people are pretty good nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, you look a lot of surf casters, a lot of people are pretty conscious because things have changed since the 1990s and stuff where people were kicking fish with their boots back in the water, It still happens, but where's the link? Go to Saltwater Edge on Instagram. Saltwater Edge, the fly shop I tie for. Peter Jenkins, who's the owner, he's like one of the head of the Saltwater Guide Association. They have a link in their bio on Saltwater Edge on Instagram. Let me actually put it in the chat in case you folks care about false albacore. I'd have to do this on my phone. Give me 1 second. I am going to do it, though, in case any of you folks are interested. Give me 1 second. I'll post it both on YouTube and Twitch. I'll actually just post the... unless they changed it. 4 p.m., February 17th, link in our bio. The link's different, though. Let me go to the American... I'll find it. You know what? I'll either post it in the Discord or something. It's the Saltwater Guide Association. I'll have to find it because they changed it. You could look up the Saltwater Guide Association on Instagram or look up their website. They should have some information on it. Looks like Saltwater Edge probably changed their link for something or whatever. Okay. Let's keep going. We got 2 more of these to tie. Or not 2 more. We got a lot more of these to tie, but we have 2 more white bellies. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. What do you call it? Got to get these done, and then I'll see what's next on the docket for tying for some shops. I have to do some stuff for whitewater, so. But these flies are a lot of fun to tie, so I wanted to, once we get these 2 white bellies done, we could start doing the colors. They really start coming together. They start popping. It is on Saltwater Edge's Instagram bio? Yeah, I thought, but it showed something else. Okay. Yeah, go check out Saltwater Edge on Instagram. It's in their bio. Or you can go to Saltwater Guide Association. Look that up. You can just look up their website. I think they have a link. Just going to taper this real quick. Try not to get any waste here. Let me actually, can I zoom out for you guys here so you can see more of the action of me tapering stuff? There we go. I don't want to be too zoomed in here. So yeah, I'm also trying to figure out what the next videos are going to be. So I took a YouTube suggestion as one of the next flies. There's a bucktail deceiver. And there's, because if you're in the Discgram, you know, but an Apamit special by Rich Murphy, which somebody requested from YouTube. So if you folks have any suggestions on any flies you want to see, preferably something saltwater related. But I can do some like bass streamers or stuff like that as well. I have a ton of different flies that I have written down that I'm going to tie, but I gladly take any suggestions if there's any particular patterns you want to see that you think would be interesting. I think the mushmouth is going to be one. The mushmouth's definitely one of my favorite flies. I might save some of these flies, though, for the fall, because some of these are definitely more like fall-time flies. Should probably do kind of focus more on flies we can use for the spring and the summer and whatnot right now. Try and keep it seasonal-ish. Oop. Gotta secure this mic a little better next time, but probably due for a new mic stand. This mic stand is God knows how old now. How many hours on Twitch? Been streaming with this old gal. So we're going to be doing 5 collars. And again, I just slowly increase the length. You just taper it longer. Get those shorter hairs out of the way. Yeah, the new video that just came out today, if you haven't checked it out, the bend back, that's a fun fly. Kind of went with the original old school version of it, which in Lefty Cray's Saltwater Fly Patterns book, he calls it an ancient fly, which I really liked. It's an ancient fly pattern. We got to tie one more collar on here. Increasing that length as we go. So nobody really knows how old the bend back is. You know, it could be millennia, millions of years. I don't know. I like that, though. Ancient. And then talk about a real old school fly coming out on Monday is the Gibb Striper Streamer, which literally is just like 2 materials. And it was developed before Flash was even a thing. So fly was developed probably right around when World War II was in its height, or near the end in the some of the deadliest stuff in early 40s or whatever, near the end. Back with silk lines, bamboo rods, probably dirt roads with Model Ts or something, you know, driving through the, you know, New England somewhere, fishing for striped bass out in Massachusetts. Those are some cool visuals. I like it. All right. Go ahead and take our angel hair here, and again, just loop this and tie it directly on top. Then I'm going to just trim it right near here. To make it a little less obvious I trimmed it, I can just kind of slightly pull on the ends here just to re-taper it. Little trick. Now we can tie our colors. Yeah, so speaking of springtime flies, we have a bunch of the classic flies on my channel, right? But of course I can do more like colored variations that are trying to imitate, you know, killies or mummichugs or, spearing, things like that, right? So I could obviously do specific sort of style of fly, or I could do different patterns. Like, obviously there's a couple different crab flies that I've been tying for years. I'd like to tie some videos on and things like that. Spring, you know, like gurglers, sort of flies that you fish in the springtime. Funky, kind of weighted, buggy looking clousers, things like that. We're going to keep that to the side. We'll grab our light blue now. Don't need much of this. This gets tied right on the yellow as well. Again, get those shorter hairs out of the way. And keep this fairly long. I'm going to taper it ever so slightly shorter than the yellow, or keep it right around there. Kind of like so. I like to go heavier with the dark blue than I do the light blue on this one, because these are just kind of more like highlight colors. This is supposed to be a juvenile herring, which in the springtime we get so many little herring in the creeks. As the herring come and spawn, they've done a lot of work on fish dams and things like that. A lot of herring restoration work up here in New England and Long Island. Places like that, that a lot of herring runs got destroyed over the years from roads being built, culverts, things like that. So they build these like little fish dams and make it a felony or whatever to or class whatever misdemeanor to net herring out of creeks, which I really like. I had to go to court for a speeding ticket once or whatever, and there was some guy that got him and like his dad or something got, older guys or whatever, but they were in there for like crazy fine for netting a bunch of herring as they were coming up or something, and got caught like right next to the signs. It was very interesting to listen to that as the judge was questioning them. I was like, damn, they take it serious, that's for certain. Because if you wanted to, you could just go there with a net and catch every single one. Because it's like literally 3 inches of water, 4 inches of water. So they've like specifically allowed the brush to overgrow in these spots. Because otherwise you just get a ton of like blue herring, egrets that would come and just eat them. It wouldn't even be hard work for the birds. They would just like decimate them. So it's cool though. A lot of people know the spot, so they pull up on the side of the road and they just sit there and watch the fish. It's kind of like a salmon run, but with herring. So it's pretty interesting. It generally happens in like March, sort of deal. Sometimes April. If you know the right time of year, you can go down to some spots and you can see them running up the creeks. It's pretty cool to see. And if you know where they're running in, you can also, during those times of year, you can find bass where the saltwater is, where the herring are. Or you can find large, like I'm talking about really big largemouth bass that are waiting in the lakes for the herring to come in. Because we're talking about, they're not herring this size. They're herring that are like 12, 13 inches long, like, adult herring, proper, Atlantic herring or whatever, or river herring. I forgot what they call them. This exact species. But they're huge. They're almost bigger than bunker. Because we've caught a couple. We've caught some shad. We've also caught some of the herring before down at the creek by my house, where I go live a lot on Twitch and do some fishing. So I'm actually going to raise that up ever so slightly, because you want the eye to be kind of lifted off of the hook shank. This is going to help keep the shape of the body when we glue it. Yeah, when we do some spearing fishing, or when we're bagging them up, what do you call it? You have to, or when they do the net, with the bag, you have to make sure there's no herring around. If you see some, you gotta let them go. But it's great. Usually in the spring, there's a pretty good diverse amount of bait, especially once you start getting into June. Bunker starts showing up in force. You start getting an adult bunker. But then at that point, a lot of the times the fish are moving out of the bays and into the ocean, it seems like, because from what I can tell is there's just so much bunker in the ocean that the fish, especially larger fish, just don't need to come into the bay. Before, as they migrated north, they would come into the bays and they would look for eels, for spearing crabs. They would go on the flats, things like, you still see some of that. But now a lot of the fish, there's just a wall of just miles and miles and miles of like literally billions of pounds of bunker out in the ocean. So you have sharks, whales, dolphins, all this stuff, and all sorts of fish, bluefin tuna, bluefish, striped bass. And like my buddy South Fork Salt has some great footage of this. There were just schools of like thousands of striped bass out in the ocean. So they're just staying out there. They're not coming in because we have so much bunker out in the ocean here. There's like no reason for them to come in. So I guess that's a good thing because the bunker situation is phenomenal right now. The Menhaden restoration. It seems like it seems like the work they've been doing has been paying off. You know what I mean? The downside of that is the fish have no reason to come in inshore where I'm fly fishing. You know what I mean? They're just out there lazy, eating all the bunker without having to, barely work for it. Half the time they probably just wait for bluefish or sharks to come through and then they just eat the chunks that fall down underneath the schools. And we're going out with my buddies trying to get them on the fly big fish because my buddy was catching like 40, 50 pounders every day on live bunker. But of course I want to get one on the fly. So try and bait and switch tactics. It's tough, but hopefully we'll figure it out this year. We'll see. If not, just got to fix my boat. You know what I mean? Put a bunker out there with no hook and just let it get harassed and then throw a fly right next to it. Yeah, I know. Dude, it's literally, you just got to pull up to the right bunker school. You drop a live bunker in there and it's within seconds it would get hit by you'd get 20 pounder. And I'm sitting here with a fly rod in my hand. You know what I mean? But that's the way it is when you're addicted to fly fishing. So you can't pick up a spinning rod and a bait. Because really all it is like, I don't know. It definitely wasn't, it's definitely, if you want to catch them, that's how you do it, 100%. But imagine you get that 40, 50 pounder on the fly rod. Oh, man, it's going to be so much fun. I've been ranting about paying for a charter only to use live bait. Yeah, but hey, I'm not going to, some people like fishing with bait. There's nothing wrong with it, Meanwhile, we love throwing feathers around, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. But that being said, I made the decision a long time ago that I'd rather fish with a fly rod because I just have more fun with it, you know what I mean, than conventional ways, conventional tackle and all that. But there's nothing wrong with it if you like switching it up or you like mixing it up. You don't have to be a purist one way or the other. That being said, indicator smash, you know what I mean? Get those out of here. Go ahead and get some more craft fur on here. This will be the last white one, or last white body, and then I have like 15 white bodies that I'm going to be throwing these colors on here, so we'll get a nice splash of color on the screen here. Nice splash of color. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is exciting, right? Especially when you're catching big, big fish, but I'm just too stubborn. The old buggy whip, it's too alluring to me, It's hard enough to try and catch a 20, 30-pound striped bass, but when you have the opportunity to potentially catch 40, 50 pounders with a fly rod, it's like, it's kind of what I'm waiting for. It's only a limited time every year, too. Like a month or two. So if you want to try it, you got to go for it. So a lot of people that specifically target big striped bass, they're very specific fisheries that they've learned over time. And it could be reefs where there's a big squid run every year. And because it's not easy to catch giant striped bass on the fly consistently. You know what I mean? Because they're pretty smart by the time they get to that age. They could have been living for 18 to 20-something years, maybe even more, 30 years at that point. Some of these fish might be older than us, you know, if you're my age at least. So there's a reason why they've gotten to be that size and that age. They've probably been hooked multiple times. They know the deal, you know what I mean? So trying to fool them with artificials, let alone a fly, can be tough at times. But so you got to find the right conditions, right? The right times where bait is being targeted, or the right time of year, the right spot where like big squid are getting ripped over rips, you know, and you can, you know, match the hatch very well with a fly compared to other stuff. But it's tough. Catching trophy-sized striped bass on the fly is not to be understated how hard it is, you know? At least doing it consistently, you know, and like actually knowing what you're doing. I'll be happy if I just randomly catch a 40-pounder one day, you know, fishing the surf or something, so. This year, I think I only caught 4 or 5 bass in the surf. It was tough, man. It was really hard going. The waves, there was like 5-foot surf most of the time, which is, I mean, at that point, it's unfishable, even with a 500 grain sink tip, which is what I was using. And sand eel flies that would swim upside down, you know? So, once, though, like November comes around, there's that limited time, or late October, where it's actually, you can fish the beaches effectively. And that's when the sand eels came in strong this year, so thank God. But, I mean, I probably could have caught hundreds of striped bass with a surf rod and just a 007 in my teasers. But sticking to the fly, I mean, it was tough, you know. Most of the fish I caught were either super close because troughs formed and there was like massive deep holes right next to the beach. So I'd find where the sand eels were getting sucked off the, or blown off the trench, or blown off the sandbar into the trench, and the bass were cruising. It was really cool. I got to get some better footage next year. But and the other times, if I was fishing the surf, I mean, the fish were way out there. It was like my fly would be out there, and maybe I'd strip it once or twice, and then I would get a hit. So realistically, when it's super rough like that, it's just that my fly was not in the zone that it needed to be. And then waves would come, you know what I mean, destroy your drift or your fly line, pick it up, toss it all around. So it's like surf fishing's really tough when it's super rough out. Luckily, every year in like November, it calms down, and that's when I can kind of fish the surf a little bit harder. But I don't know. I'm really hoping for a better fishing season this year. That's my goal. Hopefully, it's getting more fish inshore. We've kind of figured out the cinderworm hatches. I'll tell you what, though. I think every year we've gotten the same cinderworm. We've got on the same cinderworm hatch. It's been like the best fishing every year for me. So we'll have to go back. It's in May. It's like the new moon in May, or full moon, either. Should have a worm hatch on it, hopefully, this year. Speaking of which, I've done one cinderworm. We need to do the articulated cinderworm fly. Hey, that's a good one. That's probably one I should write down or put that on the list. I don't know if any of you remember, we tied a teeny little articulated fly a while ago. I don't know if I was streaming on YouTube at that point. I think so, but it might be in the VODs. But I ended up having to like rip some of the material down. But I mean, the fly ended up being like 1.5 inches long. But that was the only thing they would eat. Was this like inch and a half long, teeny little articulated cinderworm fly using like the micro articulated shanks. I couldn't get them on anything else, like except for that one like marabou cinderworm fly I had. But again, I had to rip it down, make it so small because they were like super keyed in on these tiny little cinders. Hey, trout addict. How you doing? Caught some nice fish though last year on that cinder hatch. I think we had one fish that was like 32 inches or something. It's definitely one of my better fish. And then I had that one fish with Mike on his boat in the fall. He had a couple, man. There was, if you wanted to catch big ones on the fly, it was during this couple days outside the inlet. These sand eels were just getting kicked up from like 50 foot, 30 foot of water. The bass were just chasing them. And I mean, everywhere you looked, there was just like probably 10 to 30, 40, 50 pound striped bass exploding like right on the surface. It was wild. I only managed two fish though, or one fish, and they were only like 33, 34 inches or whatever. But the guy I was fishing with who picked me up in his boat, he had a couple nice fish that were like in the upper 20s. So really got to get my boat fixed because the sand eel, the offshore fishing has just been phenomenal. Like you just head outside the inlet and the fishing's been crazy. Relaxing on another snowy night here on the island. There you go. Yeah, I think we're going to be getting some snow here in the next, we got a little bit. We got a couple inches the other day. But we're going to be getting some snow here again soon. Also, I have so much footage of swim tank stuff now that I'll be working on a new, which we'll probably, after another couple flies here, we'll probably take a break. I usually grab a drink and kind of stretch my back out because this camera angle is a little funky. But working on a new kind of little break video of just a bunch of like swim tank footage of different flies. So even though I love the Albie video, we've been playing that one for years. So I'm sure some of you folks are probably excited for something different that have watched the stream for a while. There we go. 16 inches on Monday. Oh, man. I forgot. Where are you? Up in Newfoundland, right? All right. Now I got these tails here. We're going to tie these. Let me put these off to the side so they're not right in the way of the vise. Yep. Canada. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, Canada. Let's go ahead and see, having these tails with just the angel hair. The angel hair loves getting caught on stuff. These tails are flying all over the place. Now we're going to tie our colors on here. Calling for another 10 to 12. Oof. I guess your snowplow is working overtime over there, huh? So now that I got all the white and the pink done, I'm actually going to put these away. That'll be one last thing to have on my table here. I'm going to have to vacuum for sure. These craft fur flies end up making quite the mess for sure. It's not as bad as rabbit fur, but it's pretty bad. I'd say it's pretty close. Rabbit fur is like some of the worst under fur you can deal with. It just gets everywhere. If you know what I'm talking about. All right, we got all these different colors. Let's tie our blues. Or let's tie our yellow or blues or blacks, all that. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they probably make good money because people make great money plowing down here. So they're probably praying it snows unless they do things differently up there. But up here, the towns will commission just like people with snow plows. So people will just work overnight, make like thousands of dollars snow plowing for the town. It's pretty crazy. Because there's only so much the town, they have pretty decent amount, but you know there's so many roads and this and that and residential places that I guess it's easier for them to just commission it. Marabou, yeah, You tie with a fan? Oh, man, tying with a fan in Marabou. You're asking for questions. Municipalities. There you go. Yeah. Well, yeah, provincial is probably your version of what, like states or something for us. So, yeah, it's the towns. Hey, Point Blank coming in with the raid. Give it up. Round of applause. What's going on, Aussie Titan? What's going on, LaGrail? Or, La... or LaGrail? I don't know. I'll give up. Yo, Sledhead. Long time no see. How you doing, man? Yo, shout out to Point Blank. If you folks don't know Point Blank, amazing fly fisherman and fly tyer as well as regular fishing. He does it all. So make sure you check him out. But he's phenomenal fly tyer, phenomenal fly fisherman from out west. Utah, if I'm not wrong, right? I know it's been a while, but shout out to Point Blank. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Was he out fishing? Is he not here? Was he out doing some IRL stuff? Lara Grail. Oh, Lara Grail. Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah. Oh, he was tying. Oh, Point Blank. There he is, man. Yo, appreciate it, my dude. Give it up again. Round of applause. Click on his name if you haven't. Anybody watching on YouTube, check out Point Blank on Twitch. He does live fly tying and fishing as well. He does a lot of fishing. Gale. Okay, there you go. I'm just trying to get more analytics by saying your name wrong over and over again so you guys correct me. That's an old school trick. Where were you tying, Point Blank? All right. We're working on some high tide craft for Baitfish here. So I'm just working on some... This is essentially an order for saltwaterflies.com. Shout out to saltwaterflies.com. If you want to buy these flies, you can actually go check them out. They're called the Blitz Bunker Busters. Hey, Kelly Cakes. How you doing? Never used the Twitch app? Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's like, because for those of you who don't know, I'm also streaming on YouTube at the same time. But they're like two separate worlds. You know what I mean? For sure. You could probably go your whole time watching YouTube and never see Twitch content or something, you know? Especially if you're not a gamer. But you'd be surprised. There's a bunch of different stuff here on Twitch. YouTube for sure definitely, is expanding their game. So you can find a lot of the stuff. But there's a lot of great streamers on Twitch. You know, if we're talking about IRL stuff like Mr. Point Blank here or somebody like Shook One, there's also, there's a lot of classic people that I just watch for their personalities, like Djibouti Show. The funny thing is I now watch them mostly on YouTube because the bitrate's better on YouTube. So I subscribe to them on Twitch and then watch on YouTube. So, you know what I mean? But I still love Twitch. Twitch is great. But I'm happy that I stream to both because there's a bunch of folks on YouTube that it seems like love tuning in, and also, it's nice to be able to get more folks in the Discord, this and that. It's fun, so I'm happy that Twitch changed their mind so we can do both at once. We were pretty stingy there for a while about it. But I guess when some of your top creators leave the platform to stream on other places, you kind of have to change your mind. Someone's telling me they miss your music streams. Any chance you bring them back? Yeah, probably one day. Not every week, but maybe on special occasions, for sure. That was, yeah, that was something else. Thank God those are deleted off the internet, because Twitch doesn't only saves your VODs for so long. But, so if you got to experience those music streams in their full glory, then God bless, I don't know if we're ever get back to those full blown. But yeah, probably at some point. My dad wants to start playing music again, so maybe at some point we'll do something like that. But I'm trying to stay busy. I'm making gaming content for tabletop stuff with like war games and Savage Worlds for tabletop, stuff. I'm putting more effort and time into my YouTube channel, my Flytime YouTube channel, than I ever have. So we're starting to stream more again. We're streaming every Friday, potentially increasing that as we go. But for now, keeping it nice and simple. Again, I forgot to put black because you guys are distracting me. But I'm like kind of in overdrive right now, pumping out content and doing a lot of fly tying. So potentially at some point we can. I am making some more music. I'm making some beats for some of the videos and things like that, and for the stream. So I told my dad we should make film some short rock stuff or, like metal type stuff for some videos, essentially some intros and things. So, or maybe some background music, you know what I mean? Because I do have Epidemic Sound, we can, but it would be nice to potentially just make some cool like jam music for the background, nice, low, you know what I mean? When it comes to drinking a bunch of White Claws and playing live on stream, potentially, but that's kind of like a summer thing, we'll see. Yeah, those were a lot of fun. I definitely made a fool of myself quite a lot though during those. But yes. There were you know why I did it? Because there were moments of pure bliss where it actually, my guitar playing actually kind of came through and I was like jamming out. But I'd say a good at least 50% was probably like, I went back and I was like, oh God, man, I sound like, I sound like crap. I'm pretty sure I followed you on Instagram when I was on your other live. Yeah, I used to be Block Wizard way back in the day. I've been so I think let me click my name, or let me type something in chat so you guys can see my name on Twitch. Let's see. How long have I been streaming for? Let's see. Yeah, so I've been an affiliate on Twitch for 79 months. But I've been streaming probably since like maybe like early 2019 or like, no, it was probably at some point late 2018 when we started streaming. K-Fish Adventures? No. Probably with somebody else. I've always been Li Flies Mike. If not Block Wizard. What was the other one? Which is like my gaming, just BS. Gamer tag or whatever for platforms like Steam, vice versa. Yep. Li Flies Mike on Instagram. Instagram's trash nowadays. I like it, but I mean, half of it is just bot accounts, and it's just trying to show me like photos of women in bikinis half the time. You know what I mean? Like, Instagram needs to chill out. And you love getting those fake bot accounts that are like, hey, cutie, why don't you give me your social security number? You know what I mean? Like, there's some poor chumps out there falling for that stuff. But, man, Instagram back in the early days, that was fun. Everybody was just like, whoa, look at this cool photo of this log. You know what I mean? Before everybody got superficial with social media stuff. Like chasing, like essentially fame or something, whatever. All right. We're going to go ahead and put some yellow on here. But thank you again, Point Blank. Appreciate it. People are like, man, I thought this guy was fly tying. Yeah, look, sometimes things get real around here. You know what I mean? You want to talk about the dead internet theory? I'm down. Let's do it. But, no, I appreciate it, Point Blank. Thank you, dude, again. If you haven't, check out my YouTube channel. I have, we've been doing 3 to 4 videos a week. So, just this week we did the, Squimpish Fly was this week or last week? That was last week. We did the Eel Punt, Bonnaroo, Bucktail. The Bend Back came out today. Check out the new Bend Back tutorial, OG Bend Back, the original. The Kinky Muddler and how to blend your own EP fiber is coming out on Sunday. And then Monday we have the Gibbs Striper Streamer. So, I'm trying to do 3 to 4 videos a week, and so far for the past 2 weeks I've done it. So I'm trying to stay on schedule. So if you want to some good fly time videos, Check out the YouTube channel if you haven't. Shout out, by the way. I need to do this because I'm supposed to member shout out. I'm probably going to start doing shouting out my Twitch subs and my what do you call it? My YouTube members at the end of my videos, by the way, as well, as a thank you to you folks. A little extra. But shout out to our new YouTube member for 9 months. Rev has been my only YouTube member, my buddy Rev, who you know if you watch my gaming stuff. So big shout out to Rev. But I think Bob or somebody. I have to look it up. But we got a new YouTube member, so shout out to our new YouTube member. Rev isn't the only one. So I'm going to start doing that. I'll probably start putting the Twitch subs and the YouTube members as special thanks at the end of the Fly Time videos, you know what I mean? So every video will go up for free for everybody, but I've just been uploading them a couple days early for YouTube members. But essentially, it's just my way of scheduling the videos, and it's a little, and you know, just a little extra thank you for the YouTube members. So, but every video is free, so no matter what, you just gotta wait a couple days. But I've been trying to upload videos early now, so that way I'm like essentially a week ahead. Right now, I'm essentially a week ahead of schedule. So I just need to do some voiceovers later tonight and some swim tank stuff. Probably when the stream's done, I'm gonna set up the swim tank and film the Pamet special and the Bucktail Deceiver. I gotta film some swim tank footage. All right, we'll tie our blue in here. Let me go ahead and fix this. You know, the real crazy thing is my highest viewed video in the past couple of days was I started making some shorts. I went down, this is not too long ago. I think I posted this in our Discord. It was footage of it was like 15-second clip of a bucktail. No, what was it? A bulkhead, which that's another one. Let me write that down. I think I have that written down for videos, the bulkhead. But it's just a little video I filmed of the bulkhead. It was like 15 seconds on my phone when I was fishing down at the creek here. That thing got like 14,000 views in like a day. It must have got picked up by the algorithm or something. But I was like, oh, okay. I guess we gotta take some more like beauty shots of flies in the water when I go fishing from now on. Hey Doc, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you been? Go ahead and put a little black on here and put our eyes. We'll probably glue one up here near the end of the stream. I'd rather not get any UV resin residue on my fingers right now. Just put that little bit of black there right on top for that topping. It just looks nice. I like it. Okay. Oh, everything's good. Everything's good. It's getting a little cold. I think in the next couple days, for like the next week, we're going to have another cold front where it's like dropping down to 10 degrees every day. So, but everything's pretty good. We're finishing up this order. I'll probably, after the stream tonight, I'll get this done. I have these bodies I got to finish up and glue everything. But I got to get this done and ship it. We have a couple of flies that I got to ship out from the giveaways recently. Jin, Wolf, Supra, AR. I got to go to the post office, ship you something as well, Doc. And then we'll be good to go. Minus 23 degrees Celsius. 110 kilometers. What's 110 kilometers per hour winds in miles per hour? What would that be like? 60 miles, 70? No. 100 kilometers per hour is 60 miles an hour. I know that from Japanese cars, or right around there. So that's probably like 60 something miles an hour. 68? Yeah, there you go. The only reason, see, I'm they don't, we, in school here, we're like, yeah, screw that system. The only reason I would ever know that is because of Japanese cars and having like kilometer dashboards and knowing that like 60 was like the speed that I don't want to go too far over. 110 is what you want to do on the highways around here. You don't want to go over 70. That's when the state troopers start pulling you over. Otherwise, people are like, speed up. Stop driving so slow, jerk off. You're doing like 55. 60 to 70 miles per hour, yeah. Damn, that's blowing. You ain't going clamming in those conditions, tell you that much. That's when you sink your boat. Okay, let's do another body here. We'll take a break here soon, just for a couple minutes. It's good if you're sitting down and tying for hours, it's good to stand up every hour or so and just kind of walk around a little bit, you know, especially if you got bad back issues like me. All right, I'll go with a little bit of yellow here. I'm excited to get these done. We'll see, maybe saltwaterflies.com will want to work on something else. If not, I got some stuff I got to do from whitewater. So I will be at the Long Island Fly Fishing Show on March 8th up the island. So if you're going to be around, come check it out. I'll be tying there, just hanging out. Feel free to bring me a pre-roll if you want. You know what I mean? I usually get one or two of those every show. I don't know why. But I'm not complaining. We had wind up to 100 mile per hour here 2 weeks ago. Damn. I mean, I know it blows over there out in Ireland and, you know, that area, but still, those are like, you know, hurricane winds or something. Was it an extreme storm or was it like some northerly wind or something? I know in Turkey right now, my dad told me it's super cold right now in Turkey. There's a lot of like wind coming off the Black Sea from Russia. It's just really cold, like north winds. Probably like Arctic winds or something. You only have carts? Okay. Well, if you give me a battery as well, then that's one thing, you know. But you tell me I gotta go get a battery and like maybe at least a charger or something. No, I'm joking. And for those of you that don't know, it's 100% fully legal here in New York, so. But, you know, it's just funny because back in the day you get a handshake, you're like, oh man, look at that. But nowadays, like, you go to the res and stuff, and there's like old couples that are like 60 something years old, like, oh, and the wife's like, oh, what do you think, honey? Should we try some of this Maui Wowie out? And they're like, it's just so cute to see, like, you know what I mean? Instead of like weed heads, it's like nice old couples and stuff, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I mean, Canada, you guys were way ahead of that, but like, maybe we'll get a couple joints, like some old ladies. It's always old people. It's always people that are, when I say old, I mean older than me. You would think there'd be like you know, like people who are 21 and like the 30s or something. But it's all people like in their 50s, 60s, 70s, like, oh yeah, let's go get some weed. Like, it's always hilarious. I'm always like, you should try sativas if you're looking to maybe do some gardening. But if you're going to watch some movies, try an indica. Because they see me looking, they're always like, let me ask this young man. Yeah, true. They're like doing galaxy gas or something. They're like doing whippets. Kids these days. It's crazy. It's like, chill, bruh. Oh yeah, jeez. Luckily, that was never really a thing. I'm in a smaller town anyway. I mean, that's definitely a thing, but what do you call it? The big issue, unfortunately, and we don't want to get too dragged down in the dirt, but a lot of pharmaceutical stuff. Unfortunately, I lost some friends in high school to pills and stuff, so I stayed clear away from any of that sort of stuff. Stuff's the devil. That's a big issue on Long Island, unfortunately. Anyways, let's not enough talk about that crap. The whole province of Newfoundland has about 552,000 people. Wow. Less than the population of Texas. Or it's larger than Texas, but it has probably way less. I mean, Texas probably got millions. Probably Austin's like a million something, I'd imagine. That's cool, though. I'm sure it probably sucks for some people. You know, they want more like excitement. But honestly, at my age, I'd probably go live up in Newfoundland. Give me a little piece of property, a lake. Go shoot a moose with my recurve. Eat that for the winter. Nah, I mean, I think my town here in the U.S., my town, or in where I live in Long Island, and this is a smaller town, but I think it's like 10,000, 12,000 or something, I want to say. But I think it used to be like half of that when I first moved here. So it's expanding pretty quick out here on Long Island. Yeah, hopefully you got some land, right? Is that what that means? Newfoundland, you got a bunch of forestry and stuff. Is a lot of it private up there? Is a lot of it like state? 40 people? Oh my god. See, those are towns you got to watch out. Like you'll go there at the wrong time of the year during the harvest and they're all wearing masks. You know, and next thing you know, you're like in a wooden basket and they're burning you alive. That's what I think about when I think of like a 40 person. That's because I've been watching all these crazy movies. But you know, a lot of provincial owned called Crown Land. Oh, okay. I forgot you got a crown out there too. Be wearing like a diamond encrusted crown. Oh yeah, lobster fishermen. Oh yeah. You talk to somebody wrong in the bar, you'll end up in the lobster pot. Mm-hmm. Same thing with crab pots. Those green crabs aren't picky. You know what I mean? We actually sell a lot of bunker to. I mean, we don't. You know, we're small scale compared to commercial, but New York State's only allowed 1,000,000 pounds of bunker a year compared to Virginia is allowed like 80 million or some shit. But a lot of Maine bunker fishermen, and the bunker gets salted in vats. This dude who salts them. I would think you would at least have one bar, even with 40 people. I've been to some pretty small towns in Turkey. There's at least one, maybe not even a bar, just like a little shop where there's some stools outside for the old guys to drink. You know what I mean? You got to have somewhere for the old guys in town to get drunk. Oh, yeah, the green crabs are highly invasive. They're Asiatic green crabs. Same thing here. That's why they encourage you to commercially fish for them. You need a license and stuff, but they let you go to town on those crabs. There's people that make whiskey out of them. There's all sorts of stuff they do with those green crabs here in New England. It's unfortunately a very big problem, but at least, you know, there's a fishery out of it. But ideally, we would have more blue claws, calicos, lady crabs, and less of those damn things around. But I will say they make one hell of a tautog or a blackfish bait. That's what why we catch them, because the blackfish fishery is so sought after here on the North Shore of Long Island and the South Shore during the winter and stuff in the spring or whenever the season's open. Kitchen parties. Okay, I get it. I like it. Not that we don't socialize in the U.S., but compared to other places, like, when we go to Turkey or France, it's definitely a lot more like going to friends' houses and stuff. I feel here it's definitely a little bit more like a bar culture or something. I'm not into that. I go to my friend's house if I'm gonna, we're gonna hang out and party a little or whatever. But a lot of people like going out. I never really got that because I'm not a very social person. But a lot of people like going out. Oh yeah. Well, it's if you ever go down to the South, I will say I've traveled down North Carolina and Florida, and well, certain parts of Florida, we'll say. But I loved going down to the South, man. Everybody was so nice. Go to like some small like diner somewhere in North Carolina, they're like, "Hey, hon, how you doing?" Compared to New York, the lady's like just got off her cigarette break. She's like, "Yeah, what do you want?" you know, What can I get you? Come on, what's taking you so long, asshole? Like, sounds like she smoked 30 packs or something. Because you hear that a lot, right, as like somebody from up north. But I will say the Southern hospitality is definitely a real thing for the most part. I'm sure people who live in the South are like, yeah, who cares, whatever. There's there's jerks everywhere, and that being said, New York's nice. The further west you go to the city, the crazier stuff gets. But out here, people are still hospitable to each other. It's not like New York City where you gotta watch your back 24/7 half the time nowadays. But so we do still have people will hold the door open for you when you're going into this supermarket or something. We'll see if that's like that in 20 years from now, but luckily it's still like that out here. So. Hey, R.A. Fishing, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here once we put this black on. I'm just going to grab a little drink, stretch my back out real quick. Because we've been sitting down in this chair for an hour and a half now, and I'm starting to feel it in my back. So I'm just going to go grab a seltzer. We'll play our little Albie video for just a couple minutes. Just 2-3 minutes while I go grab a drink. I suggest maybe you do the same if you want. Stand up, stretch around a little bit. Get that blood flowing. And then we'll come back, tie some more of these, and then glue one up before the end of the stream so we can see what it looks like. I'll show you how to glue the heads on these properly. NYC, they'll stab you if you look at them the wrong way. Makes for interesting fishing conditions. Oh, yeah, for sure. Seltzer fly time requires whiskey. Well, unfortunately, we're out. My dad has sherry, cooking sherry, and I refuse to drink that crap. I don't know why he gets it because he knows I won't drink it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he didn't get any whiskey or vodka or anything like that. So shame on him. He got that nasty sherry, no, and I won't drink that crap. Sherry, like the hell. 40 Creek. I don't drink a lot of hard stuff. I usually I'm a Guinness man, but recently I've slowed down on the Guinness, so I have less of a beer belly. And a couple times a week I have a couple White Claws, you know what I mean, or like a hard seltzer or something. These I'm drinking regular seltzers. But look, my dad's old school, he drinks, there's like Calvados, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. But, like, cooking sherry, I don't know what I mean. He just sips on it. It's like drinking vinegar. I don't know. It's literally, like, it's not even, like, there's a difference between, like, fine sherries and stuff, but I've never liked the sherry, personally. I don't like the flavor. It's almost, something else. Dude, those Poland Springs, baby, I like them. And I don't like any sugars. I don't like any artificial stuff. Just give me some natural light flavor. I just really want some, carbonated seltzer. I just like a nice cold drink, but no sugar. I don't drink anything with sugar in it. I like cut that out a while ago. Other than some alcoholic stuff, All right, but we're keeping it clean. Polar Spring today. We're gonna take a quick little break, and when I come back, we're gonna tie a couple more of these bad boys and then glue up the heads. Again, if you haven't, check out the new bend back video out on YouTube. But we'll be back here in just a moment for some more fly time. So We've got vodka made from icebergs off the coast of the island. Oh man, I know people do some wild stuff with vodka nowadays. The Scots love Buckfast. Same stuff. Fortified wine. It's like syrup. Yeah. I want to say Calvados is very similar, right? Because I've been to France, and I remember they stopped and got some Calvados, and we drank some. That's like a very sweet, almost like syrupy type liqueur. Still less viscous, but very similar, like, stuff. All vodka made from fog. All right. Well, that's just showing off. You know what I mean? All right. Just give me 1 second. I just got to get all of this. I'll show you here. What I do is I take my hand, because there's so much underfur of craft fur on my pants right now. You take your hand. I'm not going to show you this because I'd probably get banned. But you essentially just rub your hand back and forth on your pants. And what you're doing is you're essentially turning all this craft fur into a little ball. Like, you can make dubbing out of this, would be great. But if you don't, you go to stand up after tying 100 of these things or whatever, or 20 of them in one sitting, and the craft fur just goes everywhere. So what I always do is, when you're tying tons of craft fur like this, you just take your hand, you just kind of essentially rub it like this, and all of it kind of builds up into a big ball. And it's much easier to kind of clean it off, because I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff makes a mess, and it's all over my pants. So now what I need to do is, when I go downstairs, I go outside and I just shake my pants off real quick, because there's just craft fur everywhere. If you see all this really fine sort of craft fur, it just gets everywhere. So look at my basket real quick. See that? That, by the way, is from 48 of these Baitfish. Filled this sucker up with all the underfur. I should probably take a bag and throw that all in a bag, you know what I mean? Like, give it to somebody that ties trout flies or something, but okay. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be back. Let me pull up. Let's play our Albie video. I'm going to go clean my pants off real quick and grab a seltzer. We'll be back into it. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, alright? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. Alright, you're doing good? Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Let's go!
Come here, go next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
Alright. Nice.
Let's go! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
on the albacore too.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck?
All right, and we're back. Blend it into some dubbing. Exactly. You could definitely make some nice dubbing. I end up with just so much, leftover stuff that if I kept bags of all the little trimmings of everything, I would be overflowing in stuff, Not enough trout tires, I know, to be giving this stuff away either. People are always trying to give me stuff, give me like pheasant feathers, and I'm like, I got enough stuff. I have materials from like 20 years ago still. If you got white bucktail, I'll take that. You know what I mean? Those, excuse me, those I'll take. All right, we're going to keep tying these. Which, by the way, I mean, we're close. We're almost at 2,500 subs on YouTube, so shout out to all the recent subscribers and the long-time ones. Short-term goal, I want to get 10K. In the long term, I want to get that plaque, baby. One day I'll have that YouTube plaque. You just got to keep it up. I got a lot of fly tying videos in the works, so after the stream, I'll just finish. Like I said, I just got to do some voiceovers for next week's, and then I'm working on the week after that, so got a lot of flies. Got to try and stay a week ahead schedule. Keep those fly videos coming out. I'm also working on something different, a different type of video. More discussing about, more of a discussion about what flies to use and when, as opposed to like, traditional, like, oh, I'm going to show you how to tie this fly. It's going to be like, all right. So, for instance, if the conditions are, muddy and it's turbulent and you're in the back bay, what sort of flies you want to use at what time for striped bass, vice versa. So it's going to be more like it's going to be like essential fly patterns for striped bass, but it's going to be a lot of discussion and also how to use. I guess that could be another video, itself, but. So that's going to be like a lot more work, a lot of different editing, things like that, going over some topics. But that I'm like going to work on and release it when I'm happy with it. So in the meanwhile, I'm just doing some standard tying videos as usual. But I am kind of excited to try like a different video out, like a topic essentially. And there's a lot of different topics. You can go out, film some footage of beaches during the fall, and then kind of do some discussion on how to read the water on the beach, you know what I mean, and try and find the spots where the fish will be sitting in the troughs, vice versa. Use a lot of the information in these amazing books that I have, like Lou Tabery's Fly Fishing and stuff, Inshore Fly Fishing. How to wet fly, swing for striped bass, things like that. There's a lot of different videos I could do, so. But that's definitely the sort of thing, if I make a video like that, it's got to be like very, I want to make sure I work on it a lot, so it's very high quality. So that'll be in the future. Probably around the fishing season, I'll try and have one of those come out. I'll work on it. Because a lot of times, like recently I've been posting a lot more YouTube stuff, so I'm getting a lot more comments. People ask me, like, or on Instagram a lot of times, people will message me, like, what color fly should I use? Or, like, does this fly work if I tie it in gray and white? I'm like, yes. In this sort of fly tying with streamers, you could tie in any colors you want, right? That's something I definitely want to get a point across. Because I think a lot of people, when they first get into it, they think, like, okay, well, if I tie this fly, I need exactly this blue color and this and that. You know what I mean? More slam and chorus tutorial. Look, there'll be another how to catch false albacore, but it's going to be with a fly rod, and there's like Rocky music involved. I'm going to have to find lawn stairs for me to run up and down. All right. I have a whole video planned for that, but there's something, Jay, that the second one sucked. The first one was gold. So I need to be in the right mindset. You know what I mean? I need to capture lightning in a bottle twice. So it's not easy. But I have a whole like skit, or not skit, I have a whole video planned out. The evolution from spin fishing to fly fishing into smug fly fishermen. Don't worry, a lot of knockoff Sims clothes, underwear, things like that, Let me get some more subscribers before I post one of those, because inevitably I'll lose subscribers from posting one of those videos. I will say, though, I love there'll be like some 50-year-old dude walks by on the North Shore. He goes like, slamming core, screw, like says to me. I'm like, how the hell did that, like some random dude, he doesn't even fly fish or something. He's like, hey, you're that slamming core guy. I'm like, it's only got like 1,000 views. Did everyone that fishes on Long Island watch it or something? I can't tell you how many times when I used to go fishing a lot more from shore out around places, people were like, slamming cores. What the hell? Yeah, you should have seen the look on Jeff at Whitewater, his face, because I went in, walking in there, fully dressed up with the hat and the epoxy jigs dangling, and he was like, and I didn't even tell him. I was like, I got to buy a couple more of these epoxy jigs, and we're going down. We're going albie fishing. He's like, what? And he like knew something was up, but I was like in the like character essentially. It's method acting, it's not easy. So, and that takes like a day of driving around filming for like 500 views. So, all right, you know what I mean? So I gotta wait till I get like, way more viewers, and then I post that, right? And then like half the people unsubscribe from my channel, so I'm still okay, Faith, or fate. Yeah, I think you had it right the first time, Doc. Unless you meant to spell fath, which I don't know what that means, but. Yeah, man, these look. I love these Crafter baitfish. These high ties, they're so much fun. If you haven't, you should pick up some Rainey's Crafter and try them out. I only say the Rainey's because it's just so much better. Like the tying these with crappy Crafter is just not fun. You know what I mean? You don't get the same result, the same profile. You can, but it's just. I would probably tie them smaller if you're using lesser quality Crafter, because you're not going to get the sort of like length out of it, But it's just the quality of this hair is so soft and nice. It's like a perfect substitute for the polar fiber stuff, which apparently you could still buy polar fiber. It's just I haven't seen it in a long time. So if you like, you could still tie it with the original polar fiber, but we just use this Rainey's Crafter. It's really nice. Damn hookah lounge. Well, the lighting's not good there. You know what I mean? What can you do? I have to make sure that I post on Instagram, though, about the new bend back so that people watch it because the analytics are low. Dude, it's like a full-time job, YouTube, and it's pretty damn stressful at times. Now I get what larger YouTubers say, and I'm not even at that level, but it's part of my income now, so. So that being said, go watch the new bend back after this and give it a like and subscribe. Slamming cores in it just for the algorithm. You know what I mean? Make sure you get that slamming cores on it. And then like random people that watch the video will be like, what are they? It's like a cult, you know? Definitely not a cult, though. But YouTube's a hell of a drug. Tell you that much. There you go. See, there you go. Jay's got it. You're a veteran, though. You know it. By the way, I got to make some new emotes for here on Twitch and on YouTube. So if you have any ideas for any good emotes, let me know. On Twitch, we've got like 20-something of them already, but I got to update some of them. So if you guys have any ideas... Right now on YouTube, we just have a couple striped bass ones and a Mike Ross one, but if you guys got any ideas for some new emotes, put them in the Discord. Let me know. I'll work on them. Excuse me. I think my throat's starting to get a little bit more used to streaming because I haven't done it in a while, and whenever I'm done with the stream, my voice is always shot. Because I'm just talking the whole time. What is an emote? Now here's the weird thing. I tried using my own emotes before and it wouldn't even let me. Okay, it will let me. These are emotes. If you're an Ally Flies Mike member on YouTube, you get those if you're a Twitch sub. Or Twitch has it where you can just use... We also have follower emotes. So if you just follow the channel, you get some emotes. They call them emojis on other things, but they call them emotes on streaming platforms. For instance, you can have a slamming core one. So instead of typing slamming cores, it's you can't see it, but for the folks on Twitch, they have the slamming cores emote where it's me dressed up with the jig hat, leaning back with my arms up, going screw like that. You're asking yourself, why do we need these things? Well, good question, but it's there. So for members on the YouTube channel, you get to watch the videos a couple days early because I just upload them and make sure that YouTube, it goes through the checks and balances of YouTube's judicial system so it doesn't get striked. And the members can watch it early, and then it goes public after YouTube's fully done with their, all that stuff. Have you ever tied these up with Squimpish before? Yeah. I have. I don't think we've done it on stream, but I have tied a couple of these with Squimpish before. Maybe we should do that at one point for when the fishing season comes. You can totally, that's actually a good point, Doc. You can tie these with Squimpish, because Squimpish hair isn't as soft as this, but it is a pretty similar consistency, I'd say. Yeah, the Albie has a shotgun, but what you do is you take an actual shotgun and you Photoshop the stock of a shotgun onto the Albie and the barrel coming out of the mouth, and that's the emote. There you go. There you go, Jay. Let me write that down. Albie shotgun emote. Looking down the barrel of a 12-gauge little toonie. I mean, you know what I mean? Albie shotgun emote. You got it. Good job, Jay. I mean, tell me that's not the perfect way to describe holding an albie like that, or when you see people hold albies, because everyone does it, and I've done it many times too. Nowadays, I'm not trying to handle the fish as much, but every time you see somebody in a video and they're handling albies, they're holding them like they're a Remington R700 or whatever the name of the shotgun is, the R70. Like they're going duck hunting. Mm-hmm. Let me grab a new black. Ooh, look at this. Brand spanking new from saltwaterflies.com. Ooh, baby. I don't even want to touch it. It's so nice. Check this sucker out. I mean, you can make a wig out of that. Yeah, it might last longer. I don't think it. I mean, Squimfish Fur we know it has great movement. This, obviously craft fur being softer, I think will inherently have more movement to it. But I don't know if you're losing that much movement to where, the higher durability you're gonna get from the Squimfish hair might offset it, especially if you're catching things like bluefish, for instance. But so this fly essentially originally. If you think about this fly was inspired by the polar fiber baitfish, essentially. We're tying it as like a blitz bunker baitfish, but the origins of this type of fly date back to, if I'm not wrong, from my, just reading books growing up, is from the South and fishing for things like tarpon, snook, speckled trout, redfish. Because when I remember growing up, the polar fiber baitfish and a lot of high ties were used in down south. You know what I mean? I didn't see as many people fishing for striped bass with this fly. Which is why I like that, saltwaterflies.com, where, he also will be like, yeah, you can use this for bass. You know what I mean? Traditionally, I think the high tie baitfish was more of like a fly for the south. I could be wrong. If any old heads watch this, because I have a lot of old school fly guys and gals that watch on my YouTube channel. If any of you old heads, you old fly guys know, I feel like I'm right. I feel like when you would see this fly, it was always in the context of fishing for tarpon. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, because of the way that it swims as well. But it's a great fly for striped bass. Once when we were essentially developing it, like figuring out the right proportions, the length, the amount of the material for the size of the hook. This is what we usually do before, like, if I'm working with a company and we're, going to put the fly on their website. I'll tie them and I'll go and fish them, obviously. You know what I mean? Give them some to my friends and stuff. And I had, I went and caught a bunch of bass on them, and they were nice and durable. And I even caught an albie on one. I specifically was like, you know what? Let me try and catch an albie on one of these. And it just fished like any other fly. The craft fur, you got to make sure you high tie it right. And you don't want the craft fur to be too long. But the nice thing about the soft and subtle craft fur is that it's so soft that while you're casting it, it almost never fouls. Because even if the hair wraps around here like this, when you cast it, it's so soft, it literally just boop, unfolds itself. So that is the really nice thing about this fly, is it doesn't foul very often. I think I had it foul once or something. So yeah, this is one of the OGs right here. This is one of the original ones. So I keep this as a proportion, right? So these are size 2 Gamakatsu SL12S, but the important thing is the 1X short, the shorties. The other one is, I think we tie them on a 1-aught or 2-aught in a larger size. Which I have the fly. I have an olive version of the 2-aught. I think it is. I believe it's a 2-aught. It could be a 1-aught, but yeah, these are a size 2, but it's a very heavy, stout hook. So the whole idea, though, is you want a very short shank so it doesn't foul, and if it does foul, it unfouls itself very easily. It's less likely to foul by having such a short shank as well, All right, I say we let's do one more of these things, and then we're gonna glue one up, and I'm gonna go eat some food after this. I appreciate everybody hanging out. New video coming out on Sunday is going to be the Kinky Muddler, which is a Johnny Cane fly. And I'm going to show you how to blend your own EP blends with angel hair and EP. You could use that with slinky fiber. Any synthetics you want, you can make your own blends just by doing this. I might even end up taking that clip and making that a separate video. And film some other stuff and do an in-depth video on making synthetic blends in the future. But the Johnny Cane's fly comes out on Sunday. I think around like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, something like that in the afternoon EST. And then Monday, the Gibbs fly comes out. So tonight, after the stream, when I get, we'll tie this one more fly and then I'll glue it. I got to finish editing the video for Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday next week. So, blend up them wigs. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Let's finish this last one. We'll glue one up, and then we're going to wrap it up. My voice is starting to go on me already. I might need to do the voiceovers in the morning. I don't know how I used to stream for 6 hours. I do like 2 hours now, and I can't even talk afterwards. It's crazy. You definitely got to work yourself up to it. That's one thing I remember. Like, get my vocal cords warmed up for, like, streaming for 2-3 hours, and then 4 hours, yada, yada, yada. Because I will do some longer streams here and there. I like a good 2-3 hours. You know what I mean? I got to build up my streaming stamina. We'll try maybe on weekends. We'll do some lawn ones or something where we just hang out and do this sort of thing where I'm commercial tying. Because I think I had to get these done, but more than likely, Fridays will be the, we'll just have fun and tie different flies. But I wanted to show you these herring high ties because these are a lot of fun. And maybe it'll give you some inspiration. I think I'm going to refilm the video for this because that was filmed a couple years ago and it was shot very poorly. So there's definitely some flies like the Albie Ho. I'm going to have to name it H-O because YouTube won't let me monetize the other name. There's some other videos that I filmed a long time ago when I didn't really know what I was doing with, filming in higher quality. Because now I can record in 4K. So all the fly time videos are in 4K and they look amazing compared to the old 1080p ones with the lesser resolution in terms of it being exported from the software, So I definitely want to redo some of the old school patterns I have on the channel, in an updated manner. But in the meanwhile, there's a lot of flies that I've been, like, oh, this would be a fun pattern to tie, like the Gibbs Striper Streamer. I don't know if many people know that fly nowadays, but that was like one of the original striped bass flies. Their first noted flies that people were, specifically designed for striped bass fishing. Because what happened is, this would be a great video, and in fact, I'm writing it down. Good job, Jay. You didn't cause this one, but I'm giving you credit again. The history of fly fishing for striped bass. So originally, what people would do is they would go salmon fishing. Nobody fly fished in saltwater and things like that back in the day. It was trout fishing and salmon fishing. So you would go take trips up to, places and go salmon fish, this and that before the populations got decimated. You would go trout fishing. That was like the rage back in the day. And then what people were doing is they were like, well, I can't go salmon fishing because it's only certain times of the year and I have to travel and I live here out in New England and there's striped bass. So why don't I try and tie a fly that looks like a bait fish and then I'll just use my salmon rod and I'll just try and catch striped bass. And people were just taking bamboo rods that weren't designed for saltwater either too. Like later they started designing saltwater bamboo fly rods, but originally people were using like freshwater style fly rods. And just in terms of like, not as hardy and stuff or less weights. And then they were going in like people like Harold Gibbs. He would essentially just take some bucktail, swan feathers, and he didn't have flash. This was like even like not everybody had tinsel. This was like the only sort of flashy material you could find was some sort of tinsel, things like that. So this was before the advent of a lot of synthetics and particularly flash. So it was just bucktail, little blue swan feathers, and white bucktail on top. And this was like one of the first recorded striper flies. So people were essentially just taking salmon rods and techniques, and they were like, well, I can't go all the time, so I'm just going to try and catch striped bass. And this is back really, you know, in the 30s and 40s and stuff. Not many people like were like, oh, we should take their fly rod and just catch that fish with it. You know, they were like, no, this is a salmon trout thing. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. That'd be a cool video to do on because, I mean, if you see photos from the early 1900s, late 1800s, things like that, from the Hudson River, the striped bass are bigger than the guys holding them. They're like held up with chains. They're like 80, 90, 100-pound striped bass were being caught in the Hudson River. They were literally like 80, 90 inches. Massive fish. You'd see some crazy stuff. I don't think you're catching that on a bamboo rod, but like I think the world record right now is like what do you call it? In the 70s, 78 pound, I want to say, or something. But these were like, I mean, 100+ pound fish almost sort of deal, you know, you could see. Probably 80, 90s, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got bigger. This is before all the, you know, New York got turned into what it is today and all the industrialization and stuff like that. So the Hudson River was like pristine back then. And then once New York City got industrialized, all the pollution and sewage and God knows what, and, you know, as society expands, you know, we take over. But yeah, back in the day, man, the Hudson River Valley was, whew, you want to talk about striper fishing. There's some photos. I'll probably try and find, I have some books with some cool photos. Black and white, like, you know, flash pan photos, like when they had the, like gunpowder or flash pan set up and they would light it and it would ignite and shoot. Some really cool looking stuff. I got to try and find some of that stuff. I have a bunch of old books. I don't know, like, I wonder if we could, maybe I'll look that up after the stream. I want to look up, like, 1910, 1920s striper fishing in the Hudson and see if we can find photos. You probably can, but I'm curious. Because there's some wild stuff. All right, we'll tie this little black on here. And let's glue one of these up to wrap it up here. I'm going to go make some food after this. And probably vacuum too at some point. If not, I got vacuum tomorrow. These flies make a mess. Yeah, tie up some vintage fly patterns. Well, we just did one. It's coming out on Monday, Doc, the Harold Gibbs. It's, I think, 85, potentially 90 years old now, something like that. So there's I have books with old school stuff as well. Some of the Lefty Cray books have some very old fly patterns, things like that. A great one fly tire I think not a lot of people know about, and they should, is Bill Catherwood. In my opinion, the greatest deer hair spinner of all time. I don't think I could ever get on his level, but it'd be nice to try. But that would be a cool, like, it'd be cool to discuss fly tires as well. You know, short videos. I don't know how well they would do. I'd have to try them out, but I guess that's for you folks to let me know. If you end up watching this VOD or something on YouTube, type in the comments. If you guys ever hear me talk about this stuff, let me know if you do want to watch that stuff. So, a lot of old fly fishing books I could go over. A lot of different stuff I need to think about. Might be a good topic for some videos or something, you know. All right, let's glue this one up here. So essentially you also see I like to put the hook like this because this is how it's going to ride in the water because of the way that we tie it and all the material and how heavy the hook is. It's not super heavy, but it's heavy enough that it'll turn the fly over like this. So let me go ahead and move this. grab my resin here, and I'll show you how we glue one of these up. Yeah, you can see I made, I guess, the aperture or something. I changed something to where it's much darker because the white balance was so out of control that this was like blinding white every time you'd see it because it's so worn down on top. I got to get a new Regal head. But, so I adjusted it, and now I got to light it up a lot more, but I think it's better. It's still, I think, a little dark at times, but I think it's a lot more visually appealing than with how whitewashed it was before. Like, the white balance was out of control before. It was, like, way too hot. So I've been messing with camera settings. I think it looks better. If you really want to see what it looks like when I fly tie, it kind of looks like... I bring the camera down lower, but the whole background's black, and it's just the fly that you see. It actually looks really nice. But I can't stream like that because that's not a humane way to have me sit in front of a camera with that blinding light in my face, pitch black, can barely see what I'm doing. But for fly time videos, it looks amazing. So I suffered through it. For 15 minutes, I do it, but... multiple hours, I'm not tying like that. Because I take this light here that I have. I don't know if you could see it. I have this light here. I take that and flip it pretty much right in my face like a psychopath and shut off all the other lights. And it really illuminates it beautifully where the whole background is like pitch black. But the fly is lit up really nice. So I'm excited. It's not... after Monday, this upcoming Monday, Wednesday is the next video, the Pamet special. Starting from that on, it's going to be that sort of background where it hopefully is much more visually appealing. You'll have to let me know in the videos what you think, but okay. So we're just going to go ahead and make a little like almost like triangle or diamond shape here with the resin. I do need to hold this, but I don't want to put that much tension on it. And I don't want to use too much resin. I just want to get a nice little amount there to start off. But you can see I kind of go in, I guess a good way to describe it is like a diamond shape. Like if you think of like a diamond back for like a baseball, field or something. And we don't want to put too much resin to start because what you find with this craft fur, because it's so bright, like if you ever use really, really bright material and you put a bunch of resin on there and hit it with the light, it'll heat up and it'll cause the resin to yellow because that white absorbs so much of the UV light at once that it heats it up. So in general, it's always a good idea to build up your resin in layers and not to put it all in one shot because it'll run on you. It might run from the light. There's a bunch of different reasons to build it up slowly as opposed to dumping it all in one shot. So the other thing is we want to make sure it's even top and bottom so it's not leaning one way, left or right. Oh, I gotta charge this light. It's flashing red. I forgot it's getting low. I just hit this with the light real quick. Again, not leaving it in one spot too much because you can heat up the resin where the white is. Essentially, just like this, we're trying to make sure we keep that profile. Now, some of this, you have to be careful here. Some of this craft fur got a tiny bit of resin on it, so you kind of want to make sure. Make sure that we don't have any that goes too far back on the material. If I need to, I actually might need to. Yeah, we're okay. I'll fix that a little bit. And then I just do one more light layer of medium here. Making sure you go back behind the eyes. It's important to do that. I'm just going to spread that around. Give you guys a close-up here. For sticking around this long, you get the prime time shots. It's really because I don't like fiddling with the camera that much, and I'm almost done, so might as well. All right. Make sure this is even. So it pays to just be patient. Let the resin spread around with itself, you know. Let it move around. Fill in all those gaps. Oh, so this is a good... I want to show you this. I'm going to fix it with a razor blade. But you see that right there? That's the... this also happens when the light's not strong enough. So what happened there, that's a good... did you guys see that in like real time, that happening, the resin moving away? So I think it happens when, A, your light is running low on juice, but the other thing is that resin didn't cure fast enough, so it actually pushed away and formed that little bubble. You see that? Did it catch it on the camera? Because I wasn't paying attention. I'm curious. That might be a good example. You could see it? Okay, cool. I might make a little short out of that. Now, I wonder if we could just use a pair of scissors. Ideally, what you want to use is a razor blade here, or like I have something for that works though. You could just cut it. I have a little X-Acto blade that I use for miniatures, for scraping the edges and stuff. That's a very good way of cleaning that up if you have an issue. But so that was a very good example of the resin running on me there. And that happens when the light a lot of times is not strong enough. And also if you put too much resin. So normally we would have been all right there, but what happened is that my light is, if I show you here, see how it's red? It's low on battery, so it's very dim right now. But so that's a good example. That'll also happen to you if you put too much resin in one shot, because what's happening, I figured out, is that the resin doesn't cure fast enough, and as the resin cures, it slightly expands. There's probably some sort of chemical reaction. The molecules change, right? I don't know, I'm sure a chemist knows what the deal is when it comes to UV, photoreactive resin. But what happens is it'll move away. So if you don't cure it with a strong enough light, or if you put too much on there, i.e. the resins, there's too much viscosity or too much thickness of resin for the light to cure it instantaneously, it'll actually move away from the light. It pushes away. So that was a pretty cool example of that happening. You could just clean it up like I did with a pair of scissors or whatever, and I still have one more coat to do with the thin. I'm not going to do it right now because I do need to charge this light, and these flies are for an order, and I want to make sure they look good. But so that's a good reason to make sure your light's charged, but also B, that you don't put too much on at one time. Even with a fully charged light, that can happen as well. So that's cool. I'll do a little example on of that, because I remember dealing with this when tying commercially at one point. I was like, why does this happen sometimes? You know what I mean? A slow bake too? Yeah, yep. And keep the distance. This light works great. This is a 3.8 watt Loon Mega Lamp rechargeable via micro USB. It works really good. It cures pretty well. Most of the time, if you just put the appropriate amount of resin, it cures almost instantaneously, and it doesn't cause any issues like that. If you have like the much smaller lights, yeah, it's maybe a good idea to go a little further. Or just in general, depending on the amount and the type of resin and the brand, you need to adjust where you put the light, how much time, vice versa. So that's a good point, Doc. All right. I tell you what, though, I think, oh, ouch, what was that? That was my mic cable got screwed up there. Sorry about that, folks. I think we're going to wrap it up here. If you haven't, check out the bend back video. I got to pump that up on Instagram a little bit. And Sunday at 2 or 3, we got the Kinky Mother. So for anyone watching on YouTube or Twitch, if you're new to the channel here, be sure to either follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube so you can check out some more. We're trying to stream every Friday night, work our way back up to streaming regularly now. So we're just doing once a week. But on YouTube, there's like 3 or 4 videos coming out a week, as well as shorter versions of the videos you can find on my shorts as well. So like minute versions of like flies as well, if you want a quick refresher. But Sunday we got some more stuff coming out. We'll see. Maybe we'll stream on Monday or during the week. But no matter what, every Friday after the video comes out, I'm going to be going live. So Friday afternoons. But thank you so much for hanging out and watching. If you're new though, I forgot what I was going to say is join the Discord, !Discord in the Twitch chat, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description down below, join the Discord. We'd love to see photos of some of the flies or any fish you've caught. If you have any questions about fly tying, about fly fishing, feel free to hop in there. And we already have a nice community of a bunch of people that fly fish, but we're always, looking to expand it. So I always like to say it because I get a lot of questions at times when I'm offline from people, and I'm like, hop in the Discord, because there's, people ask me about trout stuff that I'm not as familiar with. There's a bunch of people like Point Blank, Bamboozle, Doc, Craggerroll that are amazing fly tyers and fly fishermen that can help you out. So, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. You folks have an awesome night. You take it safe and take it easy. Jordy Wah, appreciate the follow on Twitch. Raw Fishing and Melix, I think I am saying that, or Melai, thank you. And then Point Blank with the raid, Master of Battle again with the resub the other day. Thank you so much. Everybody watching on YouTube, on Twitch, appreciate it. You folks take it easy, and don't forget, Sunday, Kinky Mother, all right? So we'll see you then. All right, you take it easy. Tight lines.